Could it be the draft? Could it be free agency? The Eagles looking for safety right now. Adam Schefter had a lot to say regarding the interest with the Philadelphia Eagles and Justin Simmons. Is it going to happen? Is it realistic? We're going to find out. Some other information on that. The Eagles brought in one receiver, and it looks like the Eagles have an interest in another receiver, one on a pre-draft visit so far. And yeah, we're going to go over some stuff that I don't normally cover, but this involves Jeff McClain, this involves Dan Sileo, and some of the things that have been said about Hassan Reddick and Vic Fangio really not seeing eye to eye going into this offseason, which led to a trade to the Jets. Yeah, let's get into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yeah, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So I want to go over some news for the Philadelphia Eagles, and we have some things to definitely talk about regarding Justin Simmons. Okay, now Schefter had some things to say about the situation. Really, the start of this offseason, obviously signed Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to a 3-year deal, $10 million guaranteed, with some incentives involved, which is awesome. Reed Blankenship gets a 1-year extension throughout the 2025 season, so at least you have two capable guys that could start for you the next couple years. But at the same time, I don't think the Eagles are done here. Okay, a lot of incentives in Reed Blankenship's contract in playing time. Okay, why would there be playing time incentives? Because I don't think the Eagles think that he's starting this year, that there could be a lot more coming to Philadelphia, whether it's the draft or whether it's going to be Justin Simmons, that the Eagles have really had that connection because of Vic Fangio, his ties into Denver with some of those players. Now, Adam Schefter had to say a few things here. It says, will the Eagles sign former Broncos Justin Simmons if the price is right? Adam Schefter had this to say. So I don't think they would, based on the logic with Reddick, but if Justin Simmons came in at a price that was friendly, would they do that? Maybe, yeah. I'm making this up, but what if it's a 1-year deal where it's some friendly number? Would they do that? So it's really starting to come full circle now, because I feel like maybe the Eagles are holding off right now because they want to go into the draft. Okay, they want to go after Newbin. They want to go after Bullard. I mean, that would be fantastic. I'd have no problem with that. And hopefully Bullard is on the draft board, since he is a Georgia Bulldog. And thank God he's on that team, because I really like his tape. So if the Eagles can't hit on one of these safeties down the road in this draft, I feel like Justin Simmons could be a late bloom signing post-draft. Okay, I think Justin Simmons is waiting after the draft regardless. I don't think he is going to be signed before that, just because a lot of these veterans usually wait, or some of the leftover veterans that can still play at a high level, that can produce for a team, usually wait till after the draft. This way they can at least make sure that they're going to have a starting job. We know that Vic Fangio and Justin Simmons is a match made in heaven. Yes, we know Justin Simmons is 30 years old, and safeties could play well over 30. And like I said, if they're going to add more bodies to safety, no doubt. But if it's not a high caliber player within this one of the second round picks, or to the third round, if someone drops into the third round, we'll see what happens there. But I think the Justin Simmons, I think this escapade could come to realism, and they could sign him. Okay, to have two ball hawks in the back end would be fantastic. And if you're going for a Super Bowl, why not add another voice, add some leadership to the back end? And I think that would be perfect. So I don't think the Eagles are drafting a safety high this year. I mean high as in first round. I mean, they can always draft somebody with one of the second round picks. It wouldn't shock me. Because I don't think it's the biggest dire need that they have for this roster regarding, obviously if you're going to draft another offensive lineman, because you're going to draft an offensive line with one of those 2 seconds or further than that, we'll see what happens. adding another linebacker, adding, more depth at other positions. So we'll see what happens, but I think this is very realistic going forward, and I think this could be a post-draft move if the Eagles don't get their guy. If you see them draft Newman, if you see them draft, one of those few three, about three guys that they could have interest in, like Bullard, and I would like Bullard a lot. We'll see. I obviously have my favorites, so we're going to be sticking to that. Obviously, anything outside the second round, is honestly, I don't think is starting caliber at this point. I think you need somebody ready. I don't think you have time to, obviously you want someone to produce. You're going to produce guys. Everybody needs to produce regardless. But if you want someone that's more NFL ready, use one of those second round picks if that's where you want to go at safety. If they don't do that, I think Justin Simmons is definitely on the radar, no doubt. So that's with that news. Now, there was some news that did come out from, and I usually don't cover this guy because I think it's just a joke at this point, from Dan Sileo, because I it's not that I want to talk about what he said, but I think the meaning of what could have happened. This gave me some ideas of why Reddick is not a Philadelphia Eagle. And I think it is the money, obviously, because Howard Eskin said that this deal for Reddick is well he said, quote unquote, well over $20 million. But the deal with the Jets is not done yet. Okay, I'm over this subject. I get it. I just want to see what he gets paid, because then it gives me an idea of why he left. And I mean, from what Reddick even said, I don't think it was personal. I think honestly it was. I just think it was just hey, I'm sticking by this number, and if you guys won't meet me at that number, I'm gone. And I think that's what happened. That's why this thing took weeks to develop and even news to develop. But after, obviously, signing Bryce Huff to $17 million a year, after restructuring Josh Sweat's contract for $13 million, fully guaranteed for the year, it makes a lot of sense. But Dan's had to say this. Said Vic Fangio privately met Hassan Reddick, who was unhappy with Fangio's intended role for him. Now, there was more news than this from Jeff McClain that Reddick only cared about his sack numbers, okay? That because the Eagles were failing the season, Reddick tried to put up as many sack numbers as possible, which it just sounds so stupid because, dude, what do you expect the guy to do? Not to try to get a sack? We all know he's not good against the run, okay? You get paid money as an edge rusher to go after the quarterback. Those numbers are going to matter to another team. Those are the numbers that are going to get you a big contract, and Reddick wanted to make sure of that. Yes, I don't even think Reddick even had a pass deflection, really, pass breakup in coverage this year. Could be wrong, but I don't think he did, okay? I mean, I wouldn't say that this can't be true, but I mean, all the reporters are making it sound like there was some big vocal argument that happened, which I don't think it did. I think part of this could be true, where Fangio and Reddick did talk and say, hey, if you do resign, hey, we don't know if you're going to be able to fit with what I want to do, and maybe that could be the case. But we know the money is probably the bigger case out of everything. Okay, because Reddick is very streaky with his numbers. 1 month he'll do nothing. Another month he'll get 7 sacks. That's just how Reddick plays. It's good and it's bad. It's good because the numbers are always, that with Reddick on your team every single year, the numbers are always going to be consistent. But then when you get to a player you want to go after, a Latu, or you want to go after Jared Verse, or even say Dallas Turner and Latu are probably best fits because coverage, they're hybrid guys. They could go in coverage. They've done it before and they've been successful at it, especially Dallas Turner, which I'm a huge fan of in this draft. Okay. You want a guy consistent every week to put numbers up every week. We're just waiting for sacks whenever they come from Hassan Reddick, not every single week. He's doing something because he's getting pressure, but if he's not touching the quarterback, then he's pretty much, I wouldn't necessarily say putting him out of play, but I want our secondary to be better than our defensive line this year. Really, I do. I'd rather have our secondary get a lot of turnovers and, and obviously, I think our defensive line is going to get a lot of pressure. We still have a draft. We don't know what the Eagles are doing. I think they still need a couple pieces on the defensive line regardless. You know what I mean? So Howie Roseman's got draft compensation. God forbid, there's picks involved with a trade or something like that, or the Eagles are just going to go all out and get one of the top 3 pass rushers, edge rushers in this draft. So I think it's really exciting, but I wouldn't take it off the table that like Fangio had some things to say about it, but not in a negative, Reddick and Fangio were face to face at the NovaCare in a big fight. And that's what they all want to make it look like because that's their job. That's what they get paid for. They get paid to talk this stupid bullshit. And with Jeff McClain saying all he cared about was his sack numbers, like maybe he did because that's the only thing he could do. What else is he supposed to do if that's the only thing he's good at? Like, these reports are so stupid. Every time a player leaves, it's always just bad, 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 bad. This is the Philly media in a nutshell. Eagles play a bad game, it's all on one player all the time. The Eagles lose somebody in free agency. Players, look, guys, like, teams lose big-time players. I understand both sides now. I'm trying to at least because I understand why Reddick is going, and I understand that you're not paying a soon-to-be 30-year-old over $20 million a year. And trust me, I don't even want to pay that. I wanted a restructured contract, giving him more guaranteed money, keep him happy for this year, play on his contract. Obviously, if he stays with the Jets and plays on his $14.5 million, then yeah, it's bad. It's more bad than we thought. But I'm hoping that's not the case because it's just going to look horrible down the line. But we'll see. But until we know the contract and all that stuff, and I think Philly media is just taking it and running with it at this point and making it a bigger deal than what it is. This is just purely it's purely just a hard business decision. I mean, that's really all it is. But just want to talk about that real quick. So, sorry, coughing up a lung. I won't cut that out. Something's wrong with me today. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sorry. So, excuse me. Anais Smith, okay, on a pre-draft visit with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, interesting because Anais Smith from Texas A&M. 4.47 40-yard dash, 6.86 three-cone drill, 21 reps of 225, bench press, 5'9", 190 pounds, played wide receiver, played running back. It looks like they're going after, and this is like mostly a fifth-round projection, they're going after a guy that is just more of a gadget-type receiver, using speed, could be used for special teams. I think they need to get better at kick return. Obviously, the kick returns are a lot different this year, but I think you could start to take advantage of these kick returns now because you're not going to have separation between your kick team and your return team now. Everybody is close up, and if you have a guy that's got a lot of speed going upfield, only to get by one wall, and really all you have, behind that wall is between the kicker, and obviously the returner one-on-one. When you have a guy, that could go in like that, that's awesome. So this is a mid-round pick. This isn't anything crazy. This is, I think they're bringing in a couple guys like this. They'll bring in a few guys, but they want speed. You know what I mean? I don't think this is a guy that's going to make the roster, but potentially could do a lot for special teams. We need that kick return. We need somebody on kick returns badly. As much as we don't get many kick returns anymore, they really need to get somebody that's just really got good vision and could just hit a home run every time he has the ball in his hands, that there is a chance that he could do that. And I think he's a player that could do that, and we'll just have to see. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say this is promising or anything, but I want them to bring in as many speed guys as possible, not necessarily being a depth piece at wide receiver, but could be a big, a big return guy for, Britton Covey will have the punt returns, but I wouldn't say that, his job is locked. He doesn't have an extension yet. There has been some rumblings about a Britton Covey extension. But, they're bringing in more guys right now for more competition, and that's all that matters. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be really interesting going forward. There's some rumors right now about Jaquan Jackson from Tulane, another interesting receiver at 5'11", 185 pounds. Is going to be a mid-round pick, most likely, or a late-round pick going forward. Now, says here, because I don't really know the player that well, but I mean, this guy has been played all over the place, okay? 886 all-purpose yards, 554 receiving, 111 punt, 8 rushing, and 213 kick, third most on the team, which is absolutely amazing. So he's, he's played inside, he's played outside. He had an 87-yard touchdown against USC in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, tied the Cotton Bowl record, tied for third longest in school history. So he's got some accolades towards him. He's got some milestone achievements towards him. But this is another, gadget type receiver, used for all-purpose yards, for punt return, kick return. So it's starting to look like they're looking for a couple guys like this, or at least one guy coming in and competing with Britton Covey. And obviously, I think they really need to upgrade that kick return. Because we don't get kick returns, I don't even really know who our kick returners are. I really don't. I don't even remember half the time who our kick returners are, because I kind of ignore it every time the ball's kicked off. I know it's going in the end zone. So, but man has a lot of speed, though, no doubt. You're getting some speedy type guys, and you got to see how they see who's going to survive during camp. Like they're bringing in some gadget, all-purpose yard type players that could play multiple positions, that could play wide receiver, that could be on kick return, punt return, special teams guys. That's what they're kind of looking for. I still think that they are looking for a wide receiver 3, most likely. I just don't know if it's going to be Paris Campbell and Devontae Parker, Britton Covey. So that's 5, including Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. So I don't see that right now. I have to give it a little bit of time. Paris Campbell, last time he played well was a couple years ago with the Colts, and over 600 yards. And he was a pure slot guy, which is great. So I do like him. But with the Giants, obviously, who's going to produce with the Giants anyway? Doesn't really matter. So, a couple receivers on the Eagles list right now. And obviously the main one to talk about that we did talk about was Anaya Smith from Texas A&M. So look at some of his tape, because he's pretty quick, and he's got a good pedigree when it comes to special teams, and could be that gadget guy for this team. Other than Britton Covey, there could be another guy here, which is great. I think they're looking, because look, Britton Covey's undrafted from Utah. You know what I mean? And Covey is is been thrown into the fire, and look where he is now. You know what I mean? A top 3 punt returner in the league, and that's fantastic. Wish he would have more involvement in this offense. We'll see. I think he deserves it. I think he should be warranted a shot for this offense. So the Eagles really tried to use him in the offense late in the year, but didn't really help too much. But at least the Eagles are bringing in special team, all-purpose yard type guys that are going to do, try a lot of different things with some of these guys. But that's where we're at right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Hope everybody enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you like the video. This helps the channel a lot. And we have the draft very soon. It's coming, guys. It's real quick, and it will be here before you know it. And let me know you guys think about the Hassan Reddick situation. I know everyone's very tired of it, but I just kind of want to talk about some extra things that were said from Dan and from Jeff McClain as well, and the Justin Simmons news from Adam Schefter. Not much of anything, but at least a little nugget of, the Eagles could. I think the Eagles want to see if they can hit their target in the draft, and if they don't, this might be a post-draft signing of a veteran in Justin Simmons, connected to the Vic Fangio scheme. And want to know what you guys think about that. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.